I never thought love could turn into betrayal so easily. One moment, I was planning the perfect wedding. Next, I was watching my world fall apart. Jake was my everything, my best friend, my soulmate, my soon-to-be husband. We had been together for 5 years, and in just 4 weeks, we were supposed to say our vows. I had dreamed of this day since I was a little girl, imagining the white dress, the flowers, the way he would look at me when I walked down the aisle. But love is blind, and I was about to see the truth in the most painful way possible. It started with something small, something so insignificant that I almost ignored it. One night, I was curled up on the couch, scrolling through Pinterest for last-minute wedding ideas. Jake was in the shower, and his phone, which was usually face down, buzzed on the table next to me. Ding. I glanced at it absent-mindedly. Then I froze. The name flashing across the screen made my heart stop. Noah. His best friend. His best man. The guy who had stood by his side for years. And the message? It wasn't normal. It wasn't something you'd send to a friend. Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you. My breath hitched. My stomach twisted into a knot so tight it felt like I couldn't breathe. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. But something deep inside me, the kind of instinct you can't ignore, told me that everything I knew about Jake was a lie. The shower turned off. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. My hands trembled as I placed the phone back on the table, my heart pounding so loudly I thought he might hear it. Jake walked in, running a towel through his damp hair, flashing me that perfect, charming smile. The smile that had once made me feel safe. Now, it only made me sick. I forced myself to smile back, pretending like everything was fine. But at that moment, I knew this was just the beginning. I was about to uncover a truth so devastating, so gut-wrenching, that it would change everything. And the worst part? I wasn't ready for what I was about to find. I'm Emily, 28 years old, and until a few weeks ago, I thought I had the perfect love story. Jake and I met in college. It wasn't one of those cliché moments where our eyes locked across the room, and the world stopped spinning. No, it was messier than that. I had tripped on the campus steps, spilling my coffee all over his shirt. He had laughed instead of getting mad, handing me his napkin while teasing, "Well, at least it's not a first-degree burn." That was Jake, effortlessly charming, the kind of guy who could turn any disaster into a joke. And just like that, our story began. We started as friends, late-night study sessions turning into early morning coffee runs. He made me laugh on my worst days, listened to me when I felt lost, and somehow, somewhere along the way, I fell for him. Hard. 5 years later, he got down on one knee under a sky full of fireworks, promising me forever. And I said yes without hesitation. But forever is a funny word, isn't it? We throw it around like it's guaranteed, like love is something permanent. I used to believe that. Now, I know better. Jake and I had the kind of relationship people envied. At least, that's what I thought. We had our little tradition Sunday morning pancakes, road trips with no destination, and dancing in the kitchen when our favorite song came on. He knew exactly how I took my coffee, and I knew the way he always fell asleep with one arm thrown over his forehead. He was my person. And then there was Noah, his best friend since childhood. The kind of best friend who wasn't just a friend, but family. Noah and Jake had been inseparable since they were 10. Where one went, the other followed. They had inside jokes I never understood, stories from their teenage years that made them double over with laughter. They were like brothers, bonded by years of friendship and trust. I liked Noah. I really did. He was the laid-back, quiet one to Jake's loud, infectious energy. He was always there at our barbecues, at every game night, at every important moment in our lives. But looking back, there were things I should have noticed. The way Jake always texted Noah late at night. The way their conversations would stop when I entered the room. The lingering glances. The inside jokes that I wasn't part of. I told myself it was just friendship, that they had known each other for longer than I had known Jake. But that message on his phone? "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you." That wasn't friendship. And as I sat there, Forcing a smile at the man I was supposed to marry, I realized something chilling. I'd spent 5 years loving someone who had been hiding a secret from me. A secret that was about to destroy everything. That message wouldn't leave my mind. Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you. It repeated over and over like a haunting melody, twisting my stomach into knots. Jake had been acting normal. He kissed my forehead, made small talk about work, and even reminded me to pick up my wedding dress next week. It felt rehearsed, like he was playing a part. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe there was an explanation. But deep down, I knew better. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, my mind raced with possibilities. Who was Jake meeting? What was he hiding? Why did he miss Noah? By morning, I had made up my mind I needed to know the truth. Jake left for work at his usual time, pressing a quick kiss to my cheek before grabbing his keys. "I'll be home late," he said casually. "Noah and I are catching up after work." His voice was smooth. Too smooth. I forced a smile. "Sounds fun." He grinned, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. "Don't wait up." I didn't plan to. As soon as he was gone, I sprang into action. My heart pounded as I grabbed my car keys, my hands trembling with nerves and adrenaline. I told myself I was being crazy, that I was turning into one of those paranoid fiancés who snoop through their partner's life. But then I remembered the message. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you." No. This wasn't paranoia. This was my gut telling me something was wrong, and I had to find out what. I followed him. I told myself I wouldn't go too far, just enough to ease my suspicions. But as I drove a few cars behind him, watching him take a turn away from the city, my heart started to race. This wasn't the way to his office. And it wasn't the way to Noah's apartment either. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my breath shallow. Where was he going? He finally pulled into a small, quiet neighborhood. My stomach twisted as I watched him park outside a house I didn't recognize. It was a beautiful home, with fairy lights wrapped around the front porch and a sleek black car parked in the driveway. I parked a few houses down, my hands gripping my phone like a lifeline. Jake stepped out of his car, looking around cautiously before walking up the steps. The door opened before he even knocked. And then, I saw him. Noah. My breath caught in my throat. Noah stepped onto the porch, his expression unreadable. He glanced around before pulling Jake inside, shutting the door behind them. My entire world tilted. I sat in my car for what felt like hours, my mind spinning. I wanted to believe it was nothing, that this was just a normal visit, that there was some logical explanation. But deep down, I knew. Jake hadn't just lied. He had hidden something from me. And now, I was going to find out exactly what it was. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. Jake and Noah. Together. The image of that door closing behind them played on repeat in my mind, like a cruel joke I didn't understand yet. My fingers gripped the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white, my heart hammering in my chest. I wanted to be wrong. I needed to be wrong. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe they were just talking. Maybe, "Can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you." The words sliced through my thoughts like a blade. No. This wasn't nothing. I wanted to storm up to that house, bang on the door, and demand answers. But what if I wasn't ready for the truth? A lump formed in my throat. I had spent 5 years with this man. I knew him better than anyone. Or at least, I thought I did. But now, I wasn't sure of anything. My phone was in my lap, my fingers hovering over Jake's contact. Should I call him? Should I act normal and wait until he comes home? Or should I walk away? Would I even be able to handle the truth? I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to calm the storm inside me. My mind raced through every memory, every late-night conversation, every time Jake told me he loved me. Had it all been a lie? A cold wave of nausea washed over me. Had I been the other woman all along? The thought made my stomach twist. I had built my entire life around Jake. I had trusted him with everything. And now, I was sitting outside a stranger's house, questioning whether I even knew him at all. A sharp knock on my window made me jump. I gasped, my head snapping to the suddenly, to see a woman peering into my car, concern written all over her face. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice gentle. I forced a smile, even though my entire body was shaking. "Yeah, ayui me... fine." She didn't look convinced, but she gave me a small nod before walking away. I took a deep, shaky breath. I had two choices. I could leave now, pretend I never saw anything, and go back to planning my wedding as if my entire world hadn't just crumbled. Or I could find out the truth. I stared at that house, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I needed to know. Even if it destroyed me. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the steady rhythm of Jake's breathing beside me. He had come home late, just like he said he would. Except now, I knew exactly where he had been. With Noah. My stomach twisted every time I thought about it. The message. The secret meeting. The way Noah pulled him inside like they had something to hide. I had spent all evening drowning in my own thoughts, debating whether to confront him. But when he walked through the door, looking so damn normal, my courage vanished. He kissed my forehead, asked me about my day, and went straight to the shower just like every other night. And I let him. I let him pretend. But I wasn't done yet. The next morning, Jake left early for work, pressing the usual goodbye kiss to my lips. I forced a smile, pretending like everything was fine. As soon as the door shut behind him, I grabbed his laptop. Jake never hid his passwords from me. We had built our relationship on trust, or at least, I thought we had. My hands trembled as I logged in, my heart racing so hard it felt like it might burst. I didn't know what I was looking for. Proof? Confirmation that I wasn't crazy? Anything that would make sense of this nightmare? I clicked on his emails first. Nothing. His messages? Normal. Then, I checked his hidden folders. And that's when I found it. A folder labeled US. My fingers shook as I clicked it open. Hundreds of pictures filled the screen. Pictures of Jake. Pictures of Noah. Pictures of them together. Some from college. Some from recent months. And then a video. I hesitated, my breath shallow, before clicking play. The footage was grainy, like it had been recorded on a phone. I could see Jake, his face half lit by the dim glow of a streetlight. Noah was there too, standing too close, his expression unreadable. And then Jake reached for him. My pulse stopped. Noah hesitated for a split second before his hands gripped Jake's shirt, pulling him in. And they kissed. I slammed the laptop shut, my breath coming out in short gasps. The room spun around me. I felt like I was going to be sick. It wasn't just an affair. It wasn't just a moment of weakness. Jake loved him. The realization crushed me. I had spent years planning a future with this man, dreaming of the life we would build together. And all along, he had been in love with someone else. Someone who had been standing next to us the whole time. My stomach lurched as memories flooded my mind every time Jake canceled date nights for bro time. Every time he looked at his phone and smiled before putting it away. Every time I saw them share a look I couldn't understand. I had ignored it. Because I had trusted him. Because I had loved him. A shaky breath escaped me, my vision blurred with tears. And then, something inside me snapped. This wasn't just heartbreak. This was betrayal. And I wasn't going to be the girl who sat back and cried. I was going to be the girl who took back control. And Jake? He was about to regret every single lie he ever told me. I waited. Not for answers I already had those. Not for an apology I knew it wouldn't mean anything. I waited because I wanted to see the look on Jake's face when his perfect little world came crashing down. When he came home that night, I was sitting on the couch, his laptop open in front of me. My hands were steady, my heart was not. "Hey, babe," he called out as he shut the door. "Dinner yet?" I didn't answer. I heard him set his keys down, shrug off his coat. Then, he saw me. Saw the laptop. Saw the folder I wasn't supposed to see. His entire body stiffened. "Hey," he said carefully, forcing a laugh. "Why are you on my laptop?" I turned the screen toward him. His face was drained of color. "Tell me," I said, my voice eerily calm. "How long?" Jake's throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. "What? How long?" I repeated, sharper this time. Silence stretched between us like a blade. I watched the war in his eyes, the panic, the desperation to come up with a lie that would save him. But there was no lie strong enough to erase what I had seen. I leaned forward, my voice turning ice-cold. "You could have told me, Jake. You could have said something. But instead, you made me think I was crazy. I ain't never meant to," I laughed, the sound hollow. "Never meant to what? Cheat on me? Lie to me? Or did you never mean for me to find out?" Jake raked a hand through his hair. "It's not what you think." My chest burned with fury. I watched the video. His face twisted with something like pain. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I slammed the laptop shut. But it did happen. He reached for me, but I flinched. His touch felt foreign now. "Just tell me the truth," I said, my voice cracking. "Did you ever love me?" Jake exhaled sharply, his eyes glassy. "I did." I shook my head. "No. You loved the idea of me. You loved having a normal life, a perfect wedding, a fiancé who trusted you blindly." His silence told me I was right. Then, a bitter laugh escaped me. "And what about Noah?" His breath hitched at the name. I knew then he did love him. He just never had the courage to say it. I stood up, grabbing the engagement ring from my finger. The weight of it suddenly felt unbearable. I placed it on the coffee table, my hand steady. "You don't get to keep me as your backup plan," I whispered. "I deserve more than that." Jake's face crumpled. "I never wanted to hurt you." I gave him one last look, one that told him he already had. Then, I walked away. And for the first time in years, I wasn't the one being left behind. He was. I didn't cry. Not when I left the house. Not when I tossed my engagement ring into the ocean. Not even when I packed my bags and stepped into the life I never thought I'd have one without Jake. Maybe the tears would come later. Maybe they wouldn't. But right now, I felt something else. Relief. For years, I had built my life around a lie, around a man who never really belonged to me. And the worst part? He didn't even have the courage to be honest about it. Jake wanted me, but he loved Noah. And I wasn't going to live my life as someone's second choice. Starting over, I moved into a small apartment across town, far from the memories of the home we shared. It wasn't much, just a one-bedroom space with peeling paint and a view of a parking lot, but it was mine. For the first time in years, I didn't wake up next to someone who was lying to me. No fake smiles. No silent betrayals. Just me, alone. Rebuilding the life I should have always been living. It wasn't easy. I had to unlearn the habits of being someone's fiancé, someone's partner, someone's fool. I started going out more, not to clubs or bars, but to places where I could just be. A coffee shop where the barista remembered my order. A bookstore where I got lost in stories that weren't mine. A gym where I punched out my anger until I felt weightless. And every time my phone buzzed with Jake's name, I ignored it. He called. He texted. He left voicemails. "Please, just talk to me. I never wanted to hurt you. I miss you." I deleted every single one. Because no matter how much he missed me, I would never miss being his lie. The unexpected twist one evening, I was at my usual coffee shop when someone slid into the seat across from me. I looked up, heart-stopping for just a second. Noah. I should have been angry. Should have flipped the table and stormed out. But instead, I just stared at him, waiting. He looked different. Not smug, not victorious, just tired. "I know I'm the last person you want to see," he said quietly. I raised an eyebrow. "You're not wrong." He exhaled. "I didn't come here to ask for forgiveness. I just I needed you to know that I never meant for things to happen the way they did. I let out a hollow laugh. Funny, Jake said the same thing. Noah flinched, guilt flashing across his face. I will make excuses, but for what it's worth, I never wanted to take something from you. Then why did you? He swallowed hard. Because I loved him before you did, and I never stopped. Silence stretched between us, heavy with things unsaid. Finally, I leaned back, studying him. Are you happy? His jaw clenched. He won't talk to me. I tilted my head. That's ironic. Noah sighed, rubbing his face. I guess we both lost him in the end. Something inside me shifted. For so long, I had seen Noah as the enemy. The man who stole my future. But sitting here now, I saw him for what he really was, another casualty of Jake's cowardice. I didn't forgive him. I never would. But I didn't hate him anymore. Because, in the end, we were both left picking up the pieces of a love that was never meant to last. And maybe, just maybe, that was its own kind of closure. The Sweetest Revenge months passed. Seasons changed. And so did I. I wasn't a heartbroken girl who sat in her car, staring at a house that held her worst nightmare. I was the woman who walked away. The woman who rebuilt. And one day, when I heard that Jake had moved to another city alone, I didn't feel anger. Or sadness. Or regret. I just smiled. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't destruction. It's knowing that you survived.